It'll be McCants 5 yards deep, and he won't run it out. A wise decision on his part. So let's set the offensive lineup for you then. The Philadelphia lineup first. Chuck Fusina, the quarterback. Kelvin Bryant playing with a pulled hamstring as your running back. Booker Russell. Willie Collier, Scott Fitzke, your wideouts. The offensive line, tight end Steve Folsom. Irv Eatman, 6'6", 271. Chuck Comiskey, 6'4", 290. Bart Oates, George Gilbert, and Mike McClern. Big, strong offensive line. It is a right-handed team. It likes to go to the right side. The setbacks, Booker Russell, Kelvin Bryant. The I formation. First play of the ball game. Pass complete. Steve Folsom. Doug Bedoin, number 28, was the defender out there, but a good safe pass to start. The defensive lineup for Tampa Bay, Mike Butler, Fred Nordgren, and Mike Clark. They play a 3-4 defense, a lot of zone. James Harrell, Kelly Kirchbaum, Paul Porowski, and Alonzo Johnson, your linebackers. Jeff George, Warren Hanna, Doug Bedoin, and Zach Henderson, the secondary. A couple of good ones. Hanna, they picked on him last week. We'll keep an eye on that. Birmingham did in that 27-9 win. Scott Fitzke going against Hanna. Fitzke had 3 touchdown passes last week. This is Kelvin Bryant, finds an opening. Across the 30, the 35, the 40, to the 43-yard line goes Kelvin Bryant. Out of North Carolina, last year's most valuable player in the United States Football League.
An important play right here, Tim, because we see immediately that Kelvin Bryant's pulled right hamstring is okay for today's game. He bounces off a tackler right there, moves back to the outside, and you see some of the moves that made him the top running back in the United States Football League last year in terms of his all-purpose play. 18 yards for Kelvin Bryant.
He is competitive. One of 10 children. That'll make you competitive. First and 10, 43. Fusina to throw, in trouble, scrambles out. Across the line of scrimmage, it'll be a gain of 3. Alonzo Johnson comes up and forces him down. It'll bring up 2nd and 7 for Philadelphia.
Chuck Fusina, we talked about earlier, Tim. I think probably he's the most underrated quarterback in the league, and I tend to underrate him myself. Not always an artistic success. His passes will flutter from time to time. He doesn't look pretty running the ball, but what a winner he has been. 49-8 as a starter at Penn State and as a starter in professional football.
Tampa Bay takes out Doug Bedoin, puts in Dwayne Anderson at safety. They gave him 5 at 2nd and 5 for Kelvin Bryant. Straight up the middle, quick opener. He's close to another first down for Philadelphia. Paul Porowski, the linebacker, and Kelly Kirchbaum come up to make the stop.
Kelvin Bryant was one of the great tailbacks at the University of North Carolina. I covered him there as a sophomore when he was dividing time with famous Amos Lawrence. Of course, he went on to be a starter in his senior year. Last season, he was the key player signed by the Stars and went on, of course, to be the USFL Player of the Year.
He was hurt a lot at North Carolina. The scouts weren't sure about him. They are now. He played last year, hurt most of the time. This is 3rd and 1. Booker Russell, first down, Philadelphia.
That is typical of Philadelphia play. They're one of the best teams in the league on 3rd down conversions. Jim Mora, of course, he's a story in himself. He took over last season just 2 weeks prior to the start of training camp. George Perlis had left the team to go to Michigan State. Mora went on to be the most successful coach in the league last season.
First and 10 from the 43 in Tampa territory. The bottom of the screen is Scott Fitzke. The top is Willie Collier. Russell and Bryant with the setbacks. Fusina to throw to Kelvin Bryant. Complete to the 35, inside to the 33, and close to another Philadelphia first down. Kelly Kirchbaum, again the linebacker, comes up to make the stop.
This is shaping up as a typical Philadelphia drive. They're running the right side a lot and then going with the play-action passes. The fake there, and then coming right back. He fakes to Bryant and then comes back to Kelvin Bryant on the pass. Kelly Kirchbaum, number 51, the second leading tackler on the team for the Bandits, is the man who makes the stop.
They use Kelvin Bryant quite a bit in little short passes like that. He had 17 receptions coming into the ball game. Now he has 18. 2nd and 1 from the 34. 10:49 remaining in the first period. We're just underway. Philadelphia with a fine drive going. Fusina under trouble, scrambles out. picks up the first down. Paul Porowski had to come up to make the tackle and force him down. Chuck Fusina, 107 yards rushing. He is a running quarterback, and he does an outstanding job at it.
He was the third leading rusher on the team last season. He was also an effective runner when he played for Joe Paterno at Penn State. Joe Paterno, when he was a quarterback at Brown, they said of him, can't run, can't pass, all he can do is win. Many of his quarterbacks have been the same way.
Tampa Bay in a 3-4 defense. Kelvin Bryant coming around the right side looking for blocking. Not much there. That time, Tampa Bay filled quite nicely. They ran to the football. Now, Cupper, this is a problem that Tampa had last week against Birmingham. Birmingham held the ball nearly 20 more minutes than did Tampa, and they had 24 more snaps.
Time of possession, I think, will be a very important statistic today. This drive is starting out to be the type of drive that Philadelphia really likes best, and it really characterizes their offense. They've been running the right side. They've been doing with play-action passes, throwing the high percentage routes, most of the underneath stuff, a lot to their backs and to their tight end, Steve Folsom.
1 second and 8. Fusina. Is it complete? Yes. It looked like it hit the ground, but it's complete to Willie Collier. Again, it was Warren Hanna. They went in his direction on the left corner, and they ruled it complete.
Willie Collier, the split end on the left side, number 86, is running a down and hook route. He's coming back toward the ball. He loses his balance momentarily, and he makes that catch while on the ground. Warren Hanna, number 20, is the man who makes the stop.
A sensational catch.
You've seen him now 3 for 3 in the passing department. He's got off to a perfect start, and he's also shown that he can be efficient once again as a runner. He's pulled the ball down a couple of times, and he's doing what Chuck Fusina does best.
Fusina's best day in the USFL was against Tampa last year. Threw for 232 yards, 17 of 28. And he's coming off one of his best performances with 3 touchdown passes last week.
2 weeks in a row he's been hot.
No signs of any hamstring pull on Kelvin Bryant, but he does go out. Booker Russell, Alan Harvin are the setbacks. This is Booker Russell, straight ahead, powering behind that big offensive line. Irv Eatman, Chuck Comiskey, and Bart Oates. They average 272 pounds along that right side. On the left is George Gilbert and Mike McClure. A 270 and 295 pounder as you look at the statistics on Booker Russell.
6-year pro out of Southwest Texas State, got 2 Super Bowl rings when he was with the Oakland Raiders, and then played against the Oakland Raiders when he was with Philadelphia.
2 tight ends. Kelvin Bryant's back in. Jeff Rodenberger, Ken Dunnett, Steve Folsom. All the big blockers are in for power plays. Touchdown, Philadelphia, but there is a flag.
Number 44, Kelvin Bryant. Goes to 3 yards. Penalty marker.
Let's go down for the call.
False start. Offense, the right tackle, replay the down.
So Tampa Bay gets a break, and they bring it back.
Irv Eatman, number 75. A little too quick off the ball. That is where they like to run, however. Between Comiskey and Irv Eatman, that might be the finest blocking tandem in the United States Football League. Comiskey out of Ole Miss has played every position along the offensive line. And Irv Eatman was a defensive star for 3 years at UCLA, switched to offense, still learning offense, but improving all the time. He's becoming one of the premier linemen in the USFL.
2nd and 8. Again, they load up. This is Kelvin Bryant in the left flat. Picks up 1 block. Breaks the tackle, and Paul Porowski lassos him there. Not a touchdown for Philadelphia after the penalty. But they are getting down in the territory where they are so successful. Perhaps one of the most powerful teams inside the 10.
Good going in and excellent on 3rd down conversions. And that's one of the reasons they've been able to sustain long drives. They tried to get the ball to Kelvin on a slip screen in the left flat. Paul Porowski was right there on the tackle.
3rd and 5 from the 5. Fusina, the swing pass into the right flat. Again, it's Kelvin Bryant. Cuts back against the grain. Looks for help. Can't find it. Here come the Bandits, and they take him down there. Dwayne Anderson and Mike Butler for the Bandits. Mike Butler's quite a story. Number 77, as is number 26, Dwayne Anderson, out of SMU. Mike Butler, of course, out of Kansas. 6 years with the Green Bay Packers. those numbers, Cupper. That's impressive.
It took him 8 games to get 1,000 yards last season, and you see that he's already over 1,000 yards passing this year. Chuck Bucina improved this year as a passer and as an all-around quarterback.
Well, the penalty was against Tampa Bay. They jumped too quickly. It'll be 3rd and 2 from the 2-yard line. Bucina, Booker, Russell, the I-backs. Long count, straight ahead, over the top, and I don't think he made it. Good penetration by Mike Butler.
Perhaps the right hamstring is still bothering Kelvin Bryant. Look here now on this replay as he tries to spring over the line of scrimmage. He doesn't seem to have a lot of zip as he leaps over the line of scrimmage. Irv Eatman leading the way for him there.
You can hear the crowd in the background on 4th and 1. Philadelphia will go for it. Jeff Rodenberger comes in as an extra blocker. He lines up at tight end. Kelvin Bryant, did he make it? No signal. Dwayne Anderson, the defensive safety, came up to Phil, and they aren't going to give it to him.
Number 44, Kelvin Bryant, ball carrier for the Philadelphia Stars.
So again, going over the most powerful side of their offensive line, they come up short.
Dwayne Anderson, number 26, is the man who really flies through there and stops Kelvin Bryant in midair. Watch the collision right there. Now remember, the ball must break the plane of the goal line. It doesn't.
From that angle, it looked like he was in, but they didn't give it to him, and the score remains the same, 0-0. Where the Stars have just come away empty-handed after a very fine drive. Wayne Peace is your quarterback, number 10, and they are backed up. The give is to Gary Anderson, who bangs on the right side. The first play last week for Tampa Bay when they played Birmingham was a safety. This time, Anderson bangs it out and gets it across the goal line to the 1. This program is being brought to you as an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. Now let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
WPVI TV, Channel 6, Philadelphia.
No game.
Second and 10 from the 1. Peace, the give, left side is Gary Anderson, who bangs out to maybe the 1.5 to 2 yard line. Let me set that offensive team for you for the Bandits. Wayne Peace is your quarterback. Gary Anderson, Greg Boone are your running backs. The wideouts, Eric Trevelyan and Willie Gillespie. The offensive line, Marvin Harvey, who had a splendid game last week. Dan Fike, 265. Fred Dean, 255. Chris Foot, 265. Nathan Newton, 290. And John Canine, 258. It's 3rd and 8 from the 3. Peace rolls out. Now in trouble. Gets rid of it just in time, and he was almost sacked again for a safety. It was number 96, Don Fielder, who applied the pressure. And the Stars wanted the sack. They said he was in the grasp, and the whistle didn't blow. So Zenon Andrusician, number 9, will come on to punt it away. Deep for Philadelphia, number 47, Garcia Lane. Good snap. And a fine punt. That's Garcia Lane. Takes it at midfield. Looks for help. Oh, my. The ball is loose. Philadelphia gets it back. Jeff Rodenberger, number 34, recovered the fumble. But great coverage by the special teams of the Tampa Bay Bandits. So Philadelphia will have the ball one more time in excellent field position.
The addition of Jackie Flowers to the Pittsburgh roster may have opened the way for Mike Rozier to get some yardage. But for now, it's Flowers who's doing the scoring. First quarter, Glenn Carano, 16 yards to Flowers. And the Maulers, playing at home in Three River Stadium, have a 7-0 lead over the Oakland Invaders. Now back to Tim Brand.
Thanks, Lamps. Here in Philadelphia at the vet, Garcia Lane was hurt, but he got up on his own and he ran off the field. We hope he's okay. The man who made the hit was John Benson. Jeff Rodenberger recovered the fumble, and Philadelphia has the football in Tampa Bay territory for the second time this afternoon. 1st and 10 from the 45. We've got 5:19 remaining in the first quarter. Kelvin Bryant now comes to the bottom of the screen. The pitch back to Booker Russell, who cuts back against the grain. He may lose yardage, and there is a flag on the play. Mike Clark made the initial hit.
Number 32, Booker Russell is the ball carrier for the
The last thwarted touchdown, which was a 4th-and-1 situation for Philadelphia. Now watch Dwayne Anderson, number 26 for Tampa Bay, come up from the secondary. And just as Kelvin Bryant leaps through midair, he really puts his body in there and forces him back. It looks momentarily as if Kelvin has crossed the goal line, but remember the rule states that the ball must break the plane of the goal line. I think if Kelvin had reached out with the football there, Tim, it would have been a touchdown easy because he had his body over, but the ball remained behind the goal line. Just barely, however. It's a controversial call, and one that I think we could look at several times and come up with various conclusions.
Here there was a flag on the last play. It was illegal procedure against the Stars, and it was declined by Tampa Bay since they came across and made the hit for a gain of only 1. This is Kelvin Bryant. Finds some running room on the right side. Down inside the 30 to the 24-yard line goes Kelvin Bryant. Dwayne Anderson and Alonzo Johnson had to come over and stop Bryant from going all the way.
Number 28, Doug Boudoy.
Kelvin Bryant is 6'2" and 200 pounds, but he has sprinter speed. He has 4.4 speed in the 40-yard dash. Now remember, he likes to run that right side. He gets through the hole. Now look at that. Makes a cut, little juke step there, and you see that he's hard to bring down in the open field. Dwayne Anderson and Alonzo Johnson, number 26 and 58, in on the tackle.
From the 25, first down, Allen Harvin. Left side this time. He picks up a couple of there. Philadelphia has a bevy of backs that they use, and they use them rather successfully. Kelvin Bryant is not the sole showstopper. Allen Harvin plays quite a bit, probably as much as Kelvin does. You see his statistics there for 1984.
He's 5'9", 209 pounds, but as we mentioned earlier, he's the strongest man on the team, Tim. He bench presses over 500 pounds. To me, that's amazing.
He plays almost as much as Kelvin, but he's not as productive. Kelvin is responsible for 33% of the offense. Intended for Willie Collier, broken up by Warren Hanna. So just like Birmingham did last week, Philadelphia now is going at the right cornerback, Warren Hanna.
Chuck Fusina almost perfect on the afternoon. That's his first miss. He's now 4 of 5 in the passing department for 31 yards. As you mentioned, he's coming off his best ever performance. 2 consecutive weeks now, Chuck Fusina has thrown for over 200 yards.
It was intended for Willie Collier. I told you that. Willie had 5 catches against Tampa last year. It'll bring up 3rd and 8 from the 23. We've got 3:48 in the first period. Quick count, Fusina. With time, although he doesn't realize it, he rolls his right. And he hits Booker Russell. And Booker Russell is close to a first down. Kelly Kirchbaum, the linebacker out of Kentucky, comes up to make the tackle.
Chuck Fusina has wonderful escape dimension, meaning that he doesn't always scramble, but he makes that quick move that gets him out of trouble so that he can throw the ball on the move. Sometimes he reminds me of Joe Montana, the way he moves the team down the field. He's not as graceful as Montana, but certainly the way he throws the short passes and the way he scrambles around back there and looks for the secondary receiver brings to mind Joe Montana at times.
Booker Russell goes to the wing, now comes back as a split back. The give is to Kelvin Bryant. Kelvin Bryant picks up 2 before Zach Henderson tackles him there. Let's go downstairs now because Tom Davis is with Garcia Lane.
Well, Tim, Garcia was knocked down really hard on that last play. Did you get knocked out?
Well, I wasn't unconscious. My hands were numb, and then it was a shot right around the stomach and the chest, too.
Will you be able to go back into the game?
Yes, I'll be right back in there. We'll go back on defense.
Okay, Tim, back up to you.
This drive is very important for Philadelphia. They were down once before to the 1-inch line and came away with no points. So this time they want to get on the board. It is paramount. 2nd and 7 on the 10. Scott Fitzke to the bottom of the screen. At the top is Willie Collier. Fusina to throw. With time. Has a receiver overthrown. Steve Folsom was all alone in the end zone.
You just made a good point. That's one of the things that Philadelphia has done in 1984. They have moved the ball successfully, but not gotten it into the end zone. As we mentioned earlier, they are still struggling for their identity. Chuck Fusina, straight drop back here, 5-yard drop. And he's looking for Steve Folsom, his tight end. And Folsom was open there had he thrown the ball lower and to the inside. That was not a good pass.
He was so wide open, he was lonesome out there. It'll bring 3rd and 7 on the 10.
Not to be confused with the lonesome inn.
Well, because they've been down here once before and because they came away empty-handed, they want timeout to talk it over. So Chuck Fusina goes over to talk to Jim Moore.
Kelvin is their bread and butter man, as we talked about. He's equally effective as an inside or outside runner. They like to run him on the right side behind Comiskey and Irv Eatman.
They can get the first down before they get the touchdown. Fiske in motion. Fusina long count. It is Kelvin Bryant, right side, has a hole, 5-4, goes down at the 3-yard line. Again, it's Dwayne Anderson. And Dwayne Anderson is doing a great job in the secondary for Tampa Bay. He replaced Doug Benoit.
Kelvin really looks pumped up, and one of the reasons might be is that he rested most of the week. He did not work with the team because of his hamstring problem. Look at the work of Eatman and Comiskey on that right side as they just move people out of there. Gives Kelvin some operating room. He now has 8 carries for 53 yards. You mentioned that he's responsible for better than 1/3 of their offense with his running and receiving.
He has more rushing yards than the entire Tampa Bay team this year. It is 1st and goal from the 2. Kelvin Bryant, nothing. Good defense, goal line defense that time by Tampa Bay. The front 6 penetrated, the linebackers filled, the secondary helped out, and Kelvin Bryant was shut out.
Help out and a shutout. I like it.
Oh, did we have some fun with Lee Gross Cup before the ball game? April Fools.
You did a number on me. Yeah, I thought I was late for air. I thought I was living out the announcer's nightmare momentarily.
There's your score. We have 48 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 2nd and goal for Philadelphia. Allen Harvin, Kelvin Bryant. Rodenberger's the wing. This is Harvin, and he doesn't get in. Tampa Bay defense is awfully tough down deep. Again, I tell you, up front, they have James Ramey, Fred Nordgren, and Mike Butler, the 6-year veteran from the Green Bay Packers. The linebackers, Alonzo Johnson, Paul Porowski, Kelly Kirchbaum, and Keith Clark.
This graphic right here gives you a sense of how Philadelphia has totally dominated the first quarter.
And how frustrated Tampa Bay must be. 3rd and goal from the 1. Fusina has room. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Chuck Fusina.
Fusina is the ball carrier for the Philadelphia Stars and goes to 1 yard for a touchdown.
Chuck Fusina, this is an ideal call for him down here. Play action and roll. He's looking for Jeff Rodenberg, his tight end. And when he sees the coverage in the secondary, he makes a fast decision and rushes into the end zone. He gets a good block from number 69, guard Chuck Comiskey, and in goes Chuck Fusina.
David Trout is on to attempt the extra point. He's been in a slump this year, but this one is straight through. He has a new holder this week.
Point after is successful.
And the extra point is good. So the Stars are on the board. It is 7-0. Philadelphia over Tampa Bay. Well, David Trout added the extra point. I mentioned he was in a slump. He is 4 for 10 on field goals this year. He even changed his holder last week to Tom Donovan, the receiver, and now he's gone back to Tim Reardon. So he has a new holder. And nonetheless, with 6 seconds remaining in the first quarter, as you look at David Trout there, Philadelphia has a 7-0 lead. It is a high, short kick taken by the up man, and he takes it to the 25-yard line, and not much there. The up man was Marv Christian, number 35. He's out of Tulane, and that's the end of the first quarter.
Number 35.
So Philadelphia dominated the time of possession and the score in the first. Tim Brand and Lee Gross Cup at the Vet in Philadelphia, where the Stars have just taken a 7-0 lead. This is the first play of the second quarter. 1st and 10, 25. Tampa Bay with the football. That's Wayne Peace. Gives it to Boone up the middle. Across the 30 to the 33-yard line goes Greg Boone out of Duke. The Let's show you that Philadelphia defense. It is a good one. Up front, they have William Fuller, Dave Opar, and Don Fielder. The linebackers, John Bunning, the longtime NFL veteran, Glenn Howard, Sam Mills, and George Cooper. And the defensive backs, Garcia Lane, who was injured earlier, he's okay. Antonio Gibson, Mike Lush, and Jonathan Sutton. And that defense is now trying to wage war on peace. It is 2nd and 1. Boone gets a couple of more. First down, Tampa Bay.
Tim, as we look at the first quarter numbers, what really sticks out for me is the bottom line. Look how completely Philadelphia controlled the first quarter in terms of the time of possession. They did it with a combination of ball control running and high percentage passes.
From the 37, first down. Boone and Anderson are the I-backs. This is Gary Anderson. Big gain, right side. Dave Opar comes up and finally takes him down, but it's a gain of 8 yards for Gary Anderson. Chuck Fusina right now is with Tom Davis.
Well, Tim, Chuck Fusina just scored the touchdown for the Philadelphia Stars, but he also injured himself. Exactly what happened when you went into the end zone?
Well, going into the end zone, one of the Tampa Bay defenders put his helmet on my calf, and it's just a bruise, nothing too bad.
What about when you took the ball and you sort of got frustrated that nobody else could get it into the end zone?
Not really. We'd much rather have Kelvin take it in, but Tampa was doing a good job up the middle, and it left the outside open for myself.
Thanks, Chuck. Back up to you, Tim.
From the 45, 2nd and 2. This is Anderson, left side, first down, Tampa. William Fuller, Dave Kugler, and Don Fielder came up to fill, but Gary Anderson has the first for Tampa Bay.
Gary Anderson, we talked about him earlier, Tim, and you know, Frank Broyles, our ABC colleague, told me that of all of the athletes that he has seen come through the University of Arkansas, that this man right here, Gary Anderson and Lance Hallworth, were the 2 finest athletes he had seen.
Eric Trevelyan, the bottom of your screen. Willie Gillespie at the top of your screen. Boone and Anderson are the running backs. 1st and 10. Peace wants to throw. Mike Lush on the safety blitz gets the sack for Philadelphia.
Number 10, Wayne Peace.
Mike Lush out of East Stroudsburg. He had 6 interceptions last year. He started every game for the Philadelphia Stars. Led the nation in interceptions as a senior in college with 12. A very active football player.
He has a habit of always being around the football. Safety blitz that time, you'll see him pursuing, and he's effective in the secondary. 9 tackles, 17 assists coming into today's game.
This is a situation an offense doesn't like. 2nd and 15. Now they bunch everybody in. Peace is looking for Trevelyan. He's gone deep. This is Gillespie. Overthrown. Willie Gillespie was the intended receiver. Garcia Lane was the defender.
Coverage provided by number 47, Garcia Lane.
Wayne Peace is now 0-2.
3rd down, 15.
But in Pittsburgh, Carano's doing quite a job. The quarterback there, and look at this score. Pittsburgh 14, Oakland nothing, and is Oakland ever struggling? And the Denver Gold battle out west, leading Arizona 3-0. The Generals 6, the Express nothing. Keith Jackson, Lynn Swan out there at the LA Coliseum for that one. Marvin Harvey goes in motion. The fake to Anderson. Peace rolls right. On 3rd and 15. His pass intended for Gillespie is knocked away. Good defense that time by Bill Hardee, number 21.
Willie Gillespie, the wide receiver, number 89, is the intended receiver on the right. Now watch, he is along the sideline right here, and Bill Hardee, the nickelback, is the man who is right there to make the hit. Disrupts his concentration.
Zenon Androsian punts it away. High spiraling punt that takes Garcia Lane back inside the 10. He fields it at the 7. Picks up a block. Finds the funnel on the outside. And once he gets behind the wall, takes it all the way back to the 25-yard line. John Benson comes up and knocks him down there. There's your score. Philadelphia 7, Tampa Bay nothing.
Stop made by...
With 11:03 remaining in the first half, Philadelphia has it 1st and 10 from the 25. This is the first time that the Tampa defense has had halfway field position where they don't have their backs against the wall. Fred Norgren and John Benson come up and nail Kelvin Bryant. Another score for you. San Antonio leads Michigan now 3-0. Some disturbing news from that ball game. Anthony Carter was carried off on a stretcher. We don't have the full injury report. However, New York and Jim Lampley will have a full report coming up shortly. Alan Harvin comes into the ball game for Philadelphia as the setback. Wideouts, Willie Collier and Scott Fitzke. Usina on 2nd and 8, has time, goes to the right side, intended for Booker Russell, and he was really knocked down by Dwayne Anderson, who was playing one whale of a football game.
I think Booker Russell reached a little prematurely that time. He had his arms extended as he was running toward the sidelines, and to me, it looked initially like it was a catchable ball.
What about Dwayne Anderson, the safety? He's everywhere.
Clear back behind the goal, please. Clear.
He came in for Bourdoin. Bourdoin started. Dwayne Anderson came in. He stopped the touchdown on Kelvin Bryant earlier, and he's been in a number of tackles since.
Doug Bourdoin may never get his job back.
3rd and 8 from the 27. Usina. Complete. Willie Collier makes the catch, number 86. He's out of Pittsburgh. Willie Collier had 5 catches against Tampa Bay last year.
They are throwing the ball more to this man in 1984. Willie Collier didn't catch a lot of passes in 1983. Runs disciplined routes, and he is the fastest man on the team. Jeff George, number 33, is on the coverage. But that's a textbook sideline cut because he loses a couple yards, comes back toward the ball. It's thrown low and to the outside, and that's the perfect way to run the sideline.
Collier to the top of the screen, Fitzke to the bottom. This is Kelvin Bryant. Steve Young's debut, he's 3 for 5, 34 yards, and the Expressive just scored a field goal, so it is now 6-3, the Generals.
That would be a real shot in the arm for the Express and a real shot in the arm for the league if Steve Young had an impressive debut out there today.
L.A., of course, stocked with talent, young talent. It is one of the youngest teams in the league, along with Tampa Bay. We should mention that the Bandits have only 3 players on the roster with any pro experience before the USFL began last year. Kelvin Bryant, big hole, right side, trap, across midfield to the 49. Again, Dwayne Anderson trips him up.
Is the ball carrier for the Philadelphia
Good
Stars.
crowd here today. Gorgeous weather. Mid-50s, clear skies.
Zach Henderson of the Bandits. First down, Stars.
And these folks are enjoying it. Across the street tonight, another fine hockey game. The Flyers and the Capitals battling it out for 2nd place.
Kelvin Bryant already has 72 yards, Tim. We told you at the very top that he didn't work out this week because of a hamstring pull. His right leg, but he looks good today.
Kelvin Bryant has 2 100-yard games already this year. Chuck Fusina rolls right with time, has Alan Harvin and overthrows him. Alan Harvin was wide open. That's twice now. Fusina's overthrown his receiver who's been open.
Play action fake. Good action in the backfield. Kelvin gets confused right there and gets knocked off. Alan Harvin coming underneath there is wide open along the sideline, and as you pointed out, Fusina just throwing the ball a little bit high there. That's uncharacteristic of Chuck Fusina. That's one of the passes he throws very well usually.
Midfield, 2nd and 10. Fake to Bryant. Fusina again with time across the middle, and it's complete. Now there's a fumble. Kelvin Bryant gets it back to the 30, to the 20. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Kelvin Bryant. When you're great and you're active, good things happen.
Luck is the residue of design and desire. This reminds me of the immaculate reception, except there's a bounce in here. Now watch. Willie Collier, number 86, is coming from right to left on a crossing pattern. He has the ball. He's hit hard there by Jeff George. The ball bounces right into the hands of Kelvin Bryant, the running back, number 44, and now it's clear sailing en route to the end zone.
The snap is good, the hold is good, and the kick is true. Kelvin Bryant has done it again. And the score, Philadelphia 14, Tampa Bay nothing. We have 8:26. And oh my, that's where Tampa Bay was penalized for a great hit. Knocked the ball loose. Kelvin Bryant was free, picked it up, and took it in for the touchdown. David Trout. It's off a high kick. Ricky Williams takes it to the goal line, muffs it, now puts it down. He'll down it there. It'll be a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. What a play, Cupper. Let's take a look at it and see if Collier really had the football long enough.
We've had two controversial plays today. This is the second one. Now, does he hold the ball long enough? 1-2. I think he had possession of it. Zach Henderson, number 23, is the man who gets the hit. And look at how perfectly this bounces into the hands of number 44, Kelvin Bryant, the running back. And as we pointed out, he's right there in the perfect position. And when you are in good position, good things happen to you.
There's no defense designed to stop that. First and 10 for the 20. Peace. Little swing pattern to Gary Anderson, overthrown, incomplete.
As I said earlier, it's reminiscent of the great play in 1972, Pittsburgh versus the then Oakland Raiders, in which Franco Harris wound up with a play known now as the Immaculate Reception.
And that happened at a slightly more dramatic point in the ball game than this one. That was, in fact, the game winner.
Well, if you wish to minimize my point, just go right ahead and do that.
I want to hear again how you defined luck. Second and 10, Peace in trouble. Intercepted by Philadelphia. George Cooper. Number 56, the linebacker on the right side. He made the hit. It was intended for Marvin Harvey. Harvey had it. Cooper knocked it loose and made the interception.
And the fans here at the Vet love it. As we pointed out earlier, Philadelphia has been struggling for an identity in 1984, trying to once again become the dominating team they were in 1983. They did it primarily with the doghouse defense. And the doghouse defense is at work again. Wayne Peace, number 10, straight drop back action, is looking for Marvin Harvey, number 87, the pressure by Sam Mills, the muff right there, and George Cooper, number 56, gives them a big play.
Here comes Fusina from the 22, first down, scrambles to his left. The receiver skate with him, but Fusina's going to run it out of bounds. He still picked up 3. Chuck Fusina out of Penn State. You mentioned what a winning quarterback he is. His only loss his senior year was to Alabama in the Sugar Bowl.
I said earlier that luck is the residue of design and desire.
I like it.
Give credit to Branch Rickey for that quote.
But spoken so eloquently by the professor, Lee Grosscup. Fusina has a record of 20 wins and 25 starts with the Philadelphia Stars. He has 2 straight 200-yard games, 3 for the year, 9 for his career. This is Alan Harvin. Alan Harvin bounces off the tackle, cuts against the grain, inside the 10 to the 7-yard line.
So far, Philadelphia has totally dominated the football game, Tim. They have done it with defense. They have done it with a good ball control running game, and Chuck Fusina is hot with the high percentage passes. He has also been efficient today as a running quarterback.
The Stars have forced turnovers here this afternoon. They came into the ball game without a fumble recovery. The only team in the USFL not to have a fumble recovery. They led the league last year. But they've come to play today. Fusina. Intercepted. Alonzo Johnson with an open field in front of him. Across midfield to the 40, the 30, inside the 20. Knocked out of bounds by David Riley at the 14-yard line. Alonzo Johnson, number 58, the linebacker. So tit for tat.
Kelvin Bryant, intercepted by the Bandits, number 58.
There is a flag on the play, and they're going to walk it all the way back, and that brings head coach Steve Spurrier 10 yards out onto the field. He doesn't like it, and he's complaining to the officials about it. That's Ted Humphrey, the referee, and Spurrier won't have much luck with him. Humphrey is an attorney.
So Spurrier is not about to argue his case.
Well, they're discussing the call, but it negates an awfully big play for the Tampa Bay Bandits. A 76-yard interception and return by Alonzo Johnson.
Illegal contact, defense, number 23, half the distance penalty, first down.
He called it on Zach Henderson, number 23.
Scott Fitzke, number 81, is isolated here, and he is running a post route. There is the penalty right there on Zach Henderson, number 23, and that negates the great interception by Alonzo Johnson.
It also gives the Stars 1st and 4 from the 4. Booker Russell, nothing. He may have lost a yard. Kelly Kirchenbaum filled, the linebacker, number 51, along with Mike Butler and Fred Norgan. Boy, that can deflate a ball club in a hurry.
That might be the play we look back on and say, that's where the game turned. Had Tampa Bay gotten that ball, taken it down, scored, they would be right back in it.
Alonzo Johnson, 76-yard return of an interception inside the 15-yard line, negated. Now Philadelphia has 2nd and 6. Fusina rolls right, under pressure. Escapes, throws. Knocked down, intended for Jeff Rodenberger. The former Terrapin out of the University of Maryland. Good pressure on the backside by James Harrell.
Chuck Fusina waggle or bootleg action to the right. He's looking now for Jeff Rodenberger, who has slipped out of the backfield. He gets in trouble there. Now makes a move forward. Again, the escape dimension. Almost intercepted there by number 20, Warren Hanna, who steps in front of Rodenberger. So we had an interception and a near interception, Tim.
And Rodenberger almost pulled it in anyway, one-handedly. Chuck Fusina now 7 for 12, 63 yards. Stumbles coming out on 3rd and 6. Rolls to his right, throws to the corner. Touchdown, Scott Fitzke. Scott Fitzke, watch him roll the football now.
Is complete to number 81, Scott Fitzke. Covering 6 yards, and the Stars.
Scott Fitzke, number 81, coming off his best game ever as a professional last week. Runs a sideline cut. He makes a double move. Come back to the outside. Warren Hanna on the coverage, and that ball is thrown about as perfect as it can be thrown. The old Penn State combination clicks again.
David Trout, will he be 3 for 3 on the extra points? The kick is up, and it's good. So the Philadelphia Stars, 4-1 on the year, trying for their 5th win, and they're out of the blocks quickly, 21-0. Scott Fitzke has now caught a touchdown pass in his last 3 games. He had 3 last week. You're looking at Ricky Williams and Jim Fitzpatrick, the deep men for Tampa Bay. David Trout, low kick. It'll hit on the 10 and bounced. This is Jim Fitzpatrick. To the 15, and that's it. Jim Fitzpatrick used to play Tarzan at Busch Gardens.
Number 83
returns that ball to the 15-yard line where George Jamison makes the tackle. And I believe we're going to see a new quarterback. Yes, we are, for Tampa Bay. It'll be John Reaves. when we come back. He's out of Florida. He was benched after starting the first 4 games for the Bandits. He threw 6 interceptions in his last 2 games as a starter. There are his numbers. It is 1st and 10 from the 16. We have 5 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the first half. Reaves on his first play will throw, and he's going deep. He's looking for Eric Trevelyan, and it's intercepted. Mike Lush, number 27, makes the interception, and John Reaves now has 7 interceptions in his last 3 ball games.
Number 84, Eric Trevelyan. Intercepted by the Philadelphia Stars, number 26.
John Reaves tries to hit the home run on his first play from scrimmage. He's going for Eric Trevelyan, number 84. E.T. covered very effectively there by number 27, Mike Lush. Good interception. Jonathan Sutton was also there on the coverage. Reaves forced the ball. So, once again, Tampa Bay comes up short.
Underthrown. Eric Trevelyan had a step. Eric Trevelyan was working as a salesman for Xerox when this new league began. Got a chance, and he's played quite well for Tampa. This is Fusina. Little swing pass, right side to Folsom. And all of that picked up 3 yards. Tempers now, and flags fly. We're looking at George Gilbert, number 63. He was in the middle of the melee, and he's really upset at something. Or somebody. Let's see what it is.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 79, defense. Number 63, offense. The penalty's offset. It'll be 2nd down.
So 79 is Mike Clark for Tampa. And we told you about George Gilbert, number 63. So many times, Cupper, they now call offsetting penalties on that because the second man, the one who retaliated, was always the man who got the penalty, seemingly.
Forgot to turn the other cheek.
So it is a loss of down, 2nd and 7 from the 40. Play action, fake to Kelvin Bryant, plenty of time. Now he throws the little swing pattern to Bryant, over the middle. And Bryant is out close to a 1st down.
Chuck Fusina's pass is complete to number 44, Kelvin Bryant.
That's one of the plays that they use so effectively, Tim, and you know they really have a dominating type of offense because they're so effective with their running game, and then they go with those play action passes and throw all of the underneath routes, the high percentage stuff, and they can really control the ball and move down the field effectively that way.
Offside, Tampa Bay. Fusina will just down it and pick up the yardage on the penalty. It's much easier that way. It looked like Kelly Kirchenbaum faked the blitz and came a little bit too early. Broke the plane and crossed the line. It will be against Tampa Bay. Here's the declaration.
Oh.
Kelvin Bryant has run for over 100 yards in 7 of 17 games. He has scored at least 1 touchdown in 13 of 17 games. Finished behind Herschel Walker with 1,442 yards rushing last year, 102 points. Kelvin Bryant, 33% of the offensive production for the Stars comes from that man, number 44.
Offside. Defense, number 51. Still 1st down.
Well, they're telling you about Kelly Kirchbaum. We told you that, and that man right there can't be very happy. That's John Bassett, the owner and general manager, general partner of the Tampa Bay Bandits.
4th down, 5.
Willie Collier, top of the screen. Scott Fitzke at the bottom of your screen. Fake to Bryant on 1st and 5. Almost intercepted. Intended for Willie Collier. Zach Henderson, number 23, almost made the interception. Tampa plays a lot of zone, and it looked like Zach that time was just trying to read and play center field. He read correctly, just didn't catch the football.
Willie Collier isolated here, running into the zone coverage. Jeff George has the short coverage. Now watch Zach Henderson, the free safety, number 23, come over and have a near interception. So that's an interception called back, and 2 near interceptions, 2 drops have really hurt Tampa Bay.
2nd and 5 from the 47. Bryant, 1st down, Philadelphia. Boy, is he tough. Slender upper body, quick feet, remarkable moves.
They say that he never spends much time in the weight room, but he spends a lot of time on the basketball court. And he stays in terrific shape. You see the way he's got the wiggle, he's got the quick feet, he's got the things that you like in the back, along with in the size and the speed. And he proved last season that he's also got the ability to catch the ball.
During his college career, he was hurt quite a bit, and the scouts didn't know if he'd be a can't-miss product. He played hurt quite a bit last year. He is a talent. Most valuable player in the league this past year. Chuck Fusina under pressure, spins out of one tackle, now looks for help across the 40 and runs out of bounds there. Gets the final push from 58 Alonzo Johnson.
One man seldom brings Chuck Fusina down. We talked earlier about the comparison to Joe Montana, the way he moves around back there, the way he has the escape dimension, the way he can throw the ball on the move, keeps the drives going. There you see what he has done on the ground today. 5 times carrying the ball, 17 yards, and 1 touchdown. Mentioned earlier, Tim, he was the 3rd leading rusher on the team last season, particularly in the game last year against the old Chicago Blitz. He was effective running the ball. Remember that key second game against them?
I do. You know, he was the best in the league last year with only 10 interceptions. This is Kelvin Bryant, quick opener, big hole to the 29-yard line. John Benson and Zach Henderson come up, but a big gainer for that guy, Kelvin Bryant.
Keep your eye on Irv Eatman, number 75, the right tackle. He's running a tackle trap right here, and he comes down on Mike Clark, number 79, and just totals him. Look at that. You ever seen somebody hit by a truck? Wow.
The difference there is Irv Eatman, 271 pounds, Mike Clark, 247.
They like to create mismatches.
Boy, those are 2 full-grown men. First down, pressure again. Fusina rolls right, has a receiver. Incomplete. Intended for David Riley, 35, but he couldn't hang on. You look at the offensive scheme, Cupper, and their plays are such high percentage plays.
You see here, we've seen this action before. It looks like it's going to be a misdirection play, but it turns into bootleg action with Chuck Fusina rolling out to his right. He's trying to find David Riley, number 35, and number 56, Keith Clark, gets over there on the coverage.
Chuck Fusina now 10 of 17 for 79 yards. He also has 21 points on the board. 21-0 Stars. 2nd and 10 from the 29. We've got 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Donovan in motion. Fitzke and Gillespie are wideouts, or Collier rather. He'll swing past Alan Harvin, and Alan Harvin takes it down to the 20-yard line, close to it.
That's a good time to have the quick screen on because the blitz was coming.
Well, they ran the blitz, but they are a yard shy of a first down. Our score, 21-0, Philadelphia. Tampa Bay has one of the youngest teams in the United States Football League, but they also have plenty of talent in their skill positions. They have some veterans in their offensive line. They have an active defense, and I am totally surprised that Tampa has just dominated like they have, Cupper.
Philadelphia has dominated.
I mean Philadelphia.
Well, Philadelphia, if you're joining us late, got down to the 1-yard line the first time they had the ball and then marched to 3 straight touchdowns.
Total domination by the Stars across the middle. It is complete. That is Herbert Harris, number 84. He is out of Pitt. He had 6 receptions against Oakland, his biggest game ever, for 91 yards. This is his first catch here.
Chuck Fusina throws this crossing route here about as well as it could be thrown. Herbert Harris, number 84, down and in. The ball thrown perfectly on the numbers. Number 33, Jeff George, gets the first hit.
Steve Folsom, the tight end, goes in motion, switches sides. The pitch back to Kelvin Bryant. Kelvin gets himself into a little bit of trouble. Walter Carter and Keith Clark come up quickly.
Try to run the pitch to the short side. Sometimes that play is very effective. Sometimes it'll go no place.
You know, I mentioned that Anthony Carter was injured in that game against San Antonio, and they took him off on a stretcher. We now have a report that AC has a fractured left arm.
Wonder how long that will keep him out.
Boy, you hate to see that. He is such fine athlete. Second and goal from the 6. Fusina goes down. Good pressure by John Benson, 54, the linebacker. Came through cleanly. Tampa played a game. They X'd up front. They ran a blitz. They brought their backers, and Benson got Fusina.
Spoken like a former linebacker himself right there. Tim Brandt out of the University of Maryland. John Benson right there out of Florida A&M on the blitz.
6'2", 225-pounder out of Florida A&M. But that man's sitting comfortable. Jim Marr, the head coach of Philadelphia, with a 21-0 lead. There's your score. Philadelphia now faced with a 3rd and 17, and they bring in all their receivers. Willie Collier, Tom Donovan, Scott Fitzke, and Herbert Harris. The lone setback, number 22, Alan Harvin. Fusina under pressure from behind, and there's a fumble, and Tampa Bay gets it back. So John Reaves, the quarterback for Tampa, comes on. He now has 39 seconds to work. The sack and the fumble was caused by Mike Clark.
Chuck Fusina about to be sacked for the 2nd time today. Watch Mike Clark, number 79, coming around on the blind side. There's the hit right there. There's the ball flying through the air, and Clark follows up once again and goes on in to cover the football.
39 seconds. Reaves drops, 3-step drop. Eric Trevelyan, first down, Tampa Bay. He gets out of bounds there, or does he? Yes. So they'll stop the clock with 33 seconds.
Perfect call here as they go into their hurry-up offense, although they won't need to go to the no-huddle approach because the ball did get out of bounds.
Eric Trevelyan, one of 4 players to catch a pass in every single United States Football League game. The others to do it: Mike Cobb, Gordon Banks, Tremaine Johnson. First pass completion for Tampa Bay. Reaves trying for another. Drops with time. Gary Anderson to the 39. The clock now to 25 seconds, and they stop it there. George Cooper, number 56, made the hit on Gary Anderson, and he's electric. When he touches the football, anything can happen. Look at his numbers.
He's the fastest man on the team. You know, they play a style of football known as bandit ball, and basically bandit ball stands for unpredictability. And what that means is that they will do anything at any time. Gadget plays are built into their normal practice routine. Some teams don't do that, so they have a lot of gadget plays. That man right there believes in a gadget offense. Steve Spurrier, of course, the Heisman Trophy winner in 1966 as a record-breaking quarterback himself at the University of Florida. He was also a guy who could win with his toe as well as with his arm. He was an outstanding place kicker, won many games in the final moments with field goals.
The Florida connection: Steve Spurrier out of Florida, John Reaves out of Florida, Wayne Peace out of Florida, all quarterbacks.
3 generations of Florida quarterbacks, all breaking records. And of course, Reaves came on to break Spurrier's records. Peace came on to break Reaves' records.
John Reaves, quite a story. Played with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Former #1 draft choice.
Had a battle with alcohol and drugs, came back. Tremendous story. Great gentleman. 2nd and 10 from the 39 with 23 seconds left. It is complete. That is the tight end, Marvin Harvey. They stopped the clock with 17 seconds left.
Now we see the no-huddle offense here, Tim.
Marvin Harvey caught 7 passes last week against Birmingham, 1 for a touchdown. Now the clock rolls again with 15 seconds left. Reaves, he'll go down there, but there is a penalty. William Fuller is the man who made the penetration and took Reaves down.
John Reaves sacked on the play by number 35, William Fuller with the Philadelphia Stars. Penalty marker on the play.
William Fuller got there so quickly he may have jumped. It is against Philadelphia. And I believe it was 95, William Fuller.
The left defensive end, you're right. He wanted to get the quarterback so bad that he was a little over anxious.
Offside. Defense, number 95, still first down.
You're absolutely right.
They need some points on the board here. trailing 21-0. They need it badly. 10 seconds remaining. 1st and 5. Reaves calls an audible. Philadelphia shows zone, drops back, prevent defense. Everybody's loose. Drops the pass over the middle to Gary Anderson. He drops the football, and the referee drops the flag with 6 seconds left.
Uncharacteristic of Gary Anderson, who normally has excellent hands.
Holding, Philadelphia. 6 seconds left. It's just about time to bring on Zenon Andrusician, the place kicker.
Tim, I think it's better to put something on the board, so if they have to, it would be better to get 3 points than no points. I think it's a good psychological lift going into the locker room at halftime to have something on the board.
Number 23, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, we saw John Reaves yelling over to the sidelines to Spurrier saying 6 seconds left. Let's get Zenon on. Zenon is still on the sidelines. It is 1st and 10 from the 26.
Maybe they figure they can throw one more time.
Well, they'll have to do it quickly. It'll have to be a short drop, quick throw by Reaves. The clock doesn't start until the snap of the ball with 6 seconds left. You can count them off. 4, 3, complete. Gillespie gets out of bounds with no time on the clock. Was there time or not? Well, John Reaves says yes. Well, they're talking about that one down on the field. Here's the call.
There is 1 second remaining on the scoreboard clock. 1 second.
I guarantee you Jim Moore, the head coach of Philadelphia, won't agree with that. But I think it's a just call.
The scoreboard registers double goose eggs.
Well, Willie Gillespie, if you look at the replay, and I don't know if we'll have time to show it to you right now, but he did jitterbug near the sidelines, and it cost some time there before he stepped out of bounds.
Well, he juggled the ball.
Zenon Andrusician, number 9, is 8 for 10 this year. His longest 49-yarder against George Allen's Arizona Wranglers. This is a 45-yarder. It's high enough, it's long enough, and it's good. So, Tampa Bay does get on the scoreboard with a 35-yard field goal. Out of Pittsburgh. The deep backs, Ricky Williams, 44, Jim Fitzpatrick, 83. This will be Jim Fitzpatrick at the 6 to the 20. Drops the fumble, and Philadelphia gets it back.
Number 83, Jim Fitzpatrick returns.
Jim Fitzpatrick is slow getting up. He dropped the football. He is hurt, but it'll be Philadelphia's ball.
I think it's going to be Tom Donovan, number 87, the backup wide receiver, who comes down and strips the ball away from Fitzpatrick. There it is right there. Another big play. That's turnover number 3 on the day for Tampa Bay. That's one of the key things from the first half.
Tommy Donovan recovered the fumble. It is the first fumble recovery of the year for Philadelphia. They led the league last year. They are the last this year in the league to recover one. Nonetheless, it is 1st and 10 from the 22. This is Kelvin Bryant. Big hole, right side. Picks up 5.
Tim, we've talked about this before, but for those who might be joining us late, we have talked about the total domination of the Philadelphia Stars, and as we look at the halftime numbers, you can see particularly the bottom line time of possession, 22:53 to 7:07, and in total yards, 206 to 67.
Tim Brand and Lee Grosscup from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, where the Stars have dominated the Bandits. 21-3 is our score. Philadelphia with a football, and Booker Russell with a big hole, down to the 10. Zach Henderson comes up holding his right leg, the safety for Tampa. The tackle was made by Paul Porowski and James Harrell. The offensive lineup for Philadelphia: Chuck Fusina is still your quarterback. Kelvin Bryant, last year's MVP. Booker Russell, Willie Collier, Scott Fitzke. The tight end is Steve Folsom. On the offensive line, Eatman, Kaminsky, Oates, Gilbert, and McLaurin. 1st and 10 from the 10. Just underway, second half. Bryant, nothing. Fred Nordgren came in. He's out of Portland State. He was a first-teamer all last year, all USFL last year. Very quick. Actually scored a touchdown against Denver. That's unusual for a nose tackle.
Second in the league last season behind John Corker in sacks. Played for Mouse Davis at Portland State. They're working on Jim Fitzpatrick's right shoulder there.
Mike Clark, defensive right end for Tampa, had his bell rung in the last play. He wanted to stay in. It's cleared the cobwebs. Second and 12 from the 12. Fusina with time, right corner. Fitzke overthrown. Almost a great catch and a touchdown for Philadelphia. That guy right there has had some great games in the last couple of weeks. A touchdown in each of the last 3 games. He had 3 last week.
I like the way this guy operates his routes along the sideline. Now watch this. He's going to the corner of the end zone. He's open right there. Now watch it, see if 2 feet are still in. Remember, this is a 2-foot league. Now, no way that's good. He thought he had it, but he caught it out of bounds. It's still a great effort by Scott Fitzke, who, like Fusina, tends to be underrated at times, Tim.
So many people think he lacks speed, but he was a state champion in the 100 in high school. This is Alan Harvin down to the 11-yard line. You know, Fitzke ran a 9.600.
Yes, it was misreported that he was slow. He is not slow. 9.6 in the 100-yard dash is not slow.
Your feet don't even touch the ground at that speed. He can fly.
Flat fly.
You were going to say that.
Alan Harvard, number 22. David Trout will come on. Now, David Trout has been in somewhat of a slump this year. 4 of 10 on field goal attempts. His longest, 42 yards. The hold will be at the 19. A 29-yard field goal attempt for David Trout. It is high enough, it is long enough. The arms go up, it's good. So, Philadelphia comes back out and strikes quickly. And the Stars now lead the Tampa Bay Bandits 24-3. That's number 1, David Trout, who loads it up and gets ready to kick it away. Jim Fitzpatrick, after fumbling the football in the last kickoff return, was injured. He is out. The deep men then for Tampa Bay, 44, Ricky Williams, Spencer Jackson, 88. The two collide at the back line of the end zone. A touchback, they'll bring it out to the 20.
Hey, David Trout's kicking better. Seems to have his confidence back. He's been erratic early in the season.
Confidence for Tampa Bay has to be way down right now, Lee.
I think this might be the most important series of the game for the Bandits, Tim, because if they don't get something going now and Philadelphia gets the ball back with the way they're possessing the ball today, this could turn into a blowout. They got to get something going right now.
Bugsy Engelberg, Director of Football Operations with Tampa, told me this could be the most important game in the history of the young franchise. John Reaves is still the quarterback, first and 10 from the 20, gets it to Gary Anderson at the 20, cuts against the grain up to the 26. Let's go downstairs now. Tom Davis was with Irv Eatman.
Well, Tim, Irv is playing an excellent game on the right side of the offensive line for Philadelphia. It seems like you're blowing Mike Butler right out of the game.
Well, I was really kind of fired up for this game. I played against Mike down in Tampa when we scrimmaged him before the season started. And I wasn't happy with the way I played, so I really wanted to play well today.
How about the pride in this offense, the way it's played today so far?
Well, I think that, you know, we do have a lot of pride. We got good backs, and we want to block well for them. So we go out and try to do the best job we can every week.
Okay, thank you, Irv Eatman. Back to Tim Brandt.
John Bunning comes up and stops Gary Anderson, but not before number 43 picks up a first down for the Bandits.
Well, they've got the pride, and they've also got the muscle. That is a massive offensive line for Philadelphia.
Talking about Irv Eatman and the success that he's had thus far against Mike Butler. In all fairness to Mike Butler, he does have a sprained knee, and he is wearing a knee brace today. John Reaves drops, throws complete to Eric Trevelyan, who runs out of bounds, and he's close to another first down for Tampa.
This is really, well, E.T. is giving a clinic for running the sideline route right here. He goes down about 12 yards, makes his cut, loses a yard, looks the ball right into the numbers. Jonathan Sutton, number 26, has good coverage, but E.T. has run the perfect route, and Reaves is very sharp with the pass there.
Working as a salesman for Xerox when he first came back into football to the USFL. This is Greg Boone, right side, picks up a couple of more.
One of the things we thought yesterday, Tim, in talking about the game, was that Tampa Bay would go to work more on Garcia Lane, the rookie cornerback out of Ohio State. One of the things usually you do is that you pick on the rookie. There he is, number 47. He had a good career at Ohio State, but he's still a rook.
Trevelyan to the bottom of the screen. Gillespie to the top. Reaves fakes to Gary Anderson. On 1st and 10, goes deep, complete. That is Marvin Harvey, and it's a touchdown, Tampa Bay. Marvin Harvey out of Southern Mississippi. He caught 7 passes last weekend, the big gainer here. And Tampa Bay comes roaring back after a turnover to start the second half. 47-yard touchdown.
And the Tampa Bay Bandits touchdown.
This is the best play of the day for the Tampa Bay Bandits right here. Marvin Harvey, the tight end. The referee gets in the way right here. The referee becomes a blocker and screens out number 54, Sam Mills, and that springs Marvin Harvey, number 87, the tight end, free to go on in for the touchdown.
And yes, it is legal. The officials are part of the field.
That's right.
If you could use them, more power to you. 24-9, Zenon Androsian to attempt the extra point. The kick is up, and it's good. So, Tampa Bay comes roaring back. They finally get some offense. They're back in the ball game. 55-yard touchdown by Marvin Harvey. So Marvin Harvey makes the touchdown reception, officially now 55 yards. There's the time remaining, third quarter. There's the score. Suddenly, it's a ball game, 24-10.
We said that we thought that would be the most important drive of the day for Tampa Bay. They are indeed right back in this.
Zenon Androsian gets off a high kick, not particularly long, taken by Mark McCants at the 5. Has a wall in front of him, cuts back across the 30. Mark McCants out of Temple.
That kind of typifies the way Tampa Bay moves the football. Look how quick their drive was. It only took 1 minute, 56 seconds, 5 plays, total of 80 yards. Of course, the key play, Reaves to Harvey, with a key assist by the official.
There he is right there. Marvin Harvey out of Southern Mississippi. Reggie Collier's receiver when he played there in college. 1st and 10 from the 32. 9:20 remaining in the third period. Fusina gives to Allen Harvin. Pressure. Breaks containment. Finds the corner. Cuts it up. Right side. First down and more. Jeff George finally comes over and knocks Allen Harvin, number 22, out of bounds. But a big gainer for Philadelphia. Somebody on the left side of the Tampa Bay defense lost containment.
This is exactly the reason why Philadelphia was the most consistent team in the league last season. They've got a good backup runner in Allen Harvin. Gets a good blocker on the right side, and Kelly Kirschbaum is applying the pressure, and Jeff George, number 33, finally makes the tackle along the sideline, knocking him out of bounds.
From just about midfield now, Fusina, plenty of room to work. Fakes to Allen Harvin. Looks deep, now comes back to Harvin on the little swing pass. Gains maybe 1. Alonzo Johnson, good play defensively, kept him. Here's Jim Lampley in New York.
Tim, there may be 2 teams waking up in Pittsburgh. After the Maulers had taken the early 21-0 lead, Fred Basana has come back with 2 impressive drives for Oakland. The first touchdown pass was to Mark Lewis in the first half. Now this 17-yarder on the great catch by Gordon Banks. It's 21-14 Pittsburgh over Oakland in the third, but Oakland's coming on. How you doing, Tim?
Here we've got a ball game, Lamps, 24-10 here. But Tampa Bay now has to stop the Stars. This is Kelvin Bryant slashing across the right side. Loses the football. Fumble recovered, and it looks like Tampa may have gotten it. No signal. Philadelphia got it back. Well, that'll open some eyes. Philadelphia has a man down. Can't see who it is from here.
Tackle made by number 51.
Looks like it is Irv Eatman, 75, the big bruiser out of UCLA. And that would be a severe blow to the Stars to lose big Irv Eatman.
Chuck Fusina slipping the ball there to Kelvin Bryant, number 44, tries to cover
4 yards on the play.
Hit hard by Kelly Kirschbaum.
6.
And here's where Irv Eatman gets it right there.
Looked like somebody came down late on his leg. 24-10, Stars. He left the field, as you can see, under his own power. So Irv Eatman leads the ball game. Brad Oates, the other tackle, is out. He is hurt. Ron Coder, a guard, now moves over to right side to replace those two injured players. 3rd and 6, Fusina on an obvious offsides play. There are flags all over the field. He goes down, and there will be a penalty.
Penalty markers on the play.
Was it offside or encroachment?
Looked like Willie Collier may have jumped, and it looked like Mike Clark came across defensively. So both sides are guilty.
Number 14, Chuck Fusina, stopped on the play by Ron Simmons.
Encroachment, defense, encroachment, offense, penalties offset, still 3rd down.
You go downstairs now. Tom Davis with Marvin Harvey.
Marvin Harvey just caught the touchdown pass. It seems like you're back into the game. How about the momentum? Has it switched in your favor?
We're at this moment. We want to get back all the way into the game by tying the score and winning the game, of course. And that was just a great throw. And there was an two coverage, and having to be the man open on that play.
All right, that's Marvin Harvey. Our thanks to him. Back up to Tim.
2 coverage. It was a zone. 6 yards to go on 3rd down for Chuck Fusina from the 46. Quick drop, quick pass. Should be pass interference. There comes the flag now. It's a late call, but they do call it. It was intended for Willie Collier. The defensive back bumped him early.
Chuck Fusina's pass intended for number 86. Willie Collier, incomplete. Penalty marker on the play.
Keep your eye on Warren Hanna, number 20, the cornerback, as he follows Willie Collier. I don't think there's much doubt about that. It doesn't take a Phi Beta Kappa to figure out that that was pass interference. And I'm glad, because there are no Phi Beta Kappas here in the booth.
Pass interference, defense, number 20, 1st down.
April Fools, and we've got 2 fools here today, I'll tell you that. You know, on a more serious note, I'm looking down now at the Tampa bench. Steve Spurrier is just really upset. He came back, kicked the bench. Now he's walking by himself. This is Alan Harvin. Finds a hole, right side. Moore bounces off the tackler, has more room down inside the 15. Wayne Anderson comes up, makes the stop, but Alan Harvin, big play, number 22 for Philadelphia.
I think number 22, Alan Harvin, may be the best backup running back in the league. He splits time with Kelvin Bryant. They don't really lose a whole lot when this man is in the ball game. Look how he breaks a tackle right there, bursts back to the outside. Dwayne Anderson, number 26, finally makes the tackle along the sideline. I really like this guy, Tim. As I mentioned at the top of the show, despite his size, he bench presses over 500 pounds.
He now has 5 carries, 48 yards, but this is Kelvin Bryant who bangs down to the 5. Zach Henderson and Paul Borowski came up to stop Kelvin Bryant, or he would have been gone.
I think Alan Harvin would probably start for just about every other team in the league. Second-year pro out of Cincinnati. Good one.
It's a good chemistry that Philadelphia has with Alan Harvin and Kelvin Bryant. They alternate them, sometimes play them together. And they have some exceptional blockers in Booker Russell, David Riley, and Jeff Rodenberger. Bryant now over the 100-yard mark. 19 carries, 105 yards. This is Harvin again. Right side of the 1, drops the football. Tampa Bay has a touchback, bring it out to the 20. Or will they say he's down? If they do, look at Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier is really upset. Now he's waiting for the call. There is no call. They're going to put it on the 1. I don't agree with that at all.
Paul Borowski makes the stop.
Alan Harvin, number 22, the tailback, is going to get the ball. He's off right tackle. Down. Loses the ball there. I think he was down. That was very obvious.
You see it that way. You're right. You're right.
No doubt about it.
Steve Spurrier's not happy with it. Nonetheless, it's 1st and goal from the 1 for Philadelphia. Kelvin Bryant, touchdown, Stars. Now the intestinal fortitude of the Tampa Bay Bandits will really be tested. Will they fold or can they sustain and come back?
Kelvin Bryant appears fully recovered from the hamstring injury that we talked about earlier in the game. Look how he leaps here. He has good spring in the legs. Up, and away.
6 times in his illustrious career, he scored 2 touchdowns or more. Make that 7. He has 2 touchdowns today. David Trout. Yes, sir. And the Philadelphia Stars now lead the Tampa Bay Bandits 31-10. And when we come back, we'll see what the Tampa Bay Bandits can do to get back in the ball game.
If they can come down now and put something up on the board again and move as efficiently as they did last time, they can stay in the game. If not, if they give the ball back to Philadelphia, it could be over.
They trail by 21. Spencer Jackson and Ricky Williams. It'll be Jackson at the 1. To the 20. And no more. Good coverage that time by the special teams of the Stars. They have a lot of consistency in their special teams. Very, very critical call down on the goal line, Alan Harvey.
There have been some controversial calls today, and this is one that, from Steve Spurrier's vantage point, looks like another one. However, I think that Alan Harvey is clearly down here before he fumbles the ball.
I agree with you. I didn't think so when I initially saw it, but after seeing the replay, he was down. John Reaves, quick out. Eric Trevelyan steps out of bounds at the 28-yard line.
To number 84, Eric Trevelyan.
This is one of the consummate timing routes as Trevelyan runs the quick out pattern along the sideline. The ball was in the air before he even came out of his cut. So as he turns around, he has to look very quick, and it takes a lot of hand-eye coordination to make that catch.
A gain of 8, fumble 2. Sam Mills gets it back, number 54. That's going to be it. I don't see how Tampa Bay can come back now. It should be Katie bar the door.
John Reaves
bar the door.
Snap from center, recovered by the...
I think that's going to be the turnover that put the game in the cooler.
And yet it has been turnovers all afternoon that have really been catastrophic for Tampa Bay.
One of the things you can never do as a quarterback is get complacent with the center snap. Reaves out a little early. Chris Foot right there, and Sam Mills is the man who makes the recovery.
Play action, right side. They go to Steve Folsom, the tight end, and Folsom rumbles down to the 20-yard line. Second and 2 from the 21. Kelvin Bryant picks up a block, cuts back against the grain. Dwayne Anderson wraps him up there, and they get help from the rest of the defense. Good pursuit.
Number 44, Kelvin
Tampa
Bryant,
Bay.
the ball carrier for the Philadelphia Stars. Dwayne Anderson, number 26. Number 50, James Harrell on the Tampa Bay tackle.
Philadelphia Stars are impressive. Tampa Bay looks like it is still struggling for its identity. It is a young football team. I mentioned that only 3 players on the roster were professionals before the United States Football League came into existence, so it is certainly one of the youngest teams in the league.
Not unlike the Los Angeles Express, a team that we covered last week. The Express remind me of an all-star team. You know, they've got so much talent there, but young guys who have not played together long enough to develop a chemistry.
I don't quite understand that sign we just saw. Bandits belong in jail, and ABC was there. Have they heard about our reputations? Fusina with time, almost intercepted, complete to Willie Collier. Well, Dwayne Anderson had his hands on it. Willie Collier came up and made the interception. When things go bad, they go awfully bad for Tampa Bay, but when things go good, Willie Collier was there.
Reminds us of the play we saw earlier where the ball bounced off Collier, and then Kelvin Bryant picked it up. Willie Collier, from his wide receiver position on the left, number 86, running a post route, is getting the ball after it has been tipped by Dwayne Anderson, number 26. Right place, right time.
Well, Well, Philadelphia wants timeout to think it over. You see Chuck Fusina. He'll go over and talk to his head coach, that being Jim Moore. But the story is unfolded. It is Philadelphia 31, and there's the look of frustration on Steve Spurrier. Everything has gone Philadelphia's way. If they score here, it'll be 3 times that Philadelphia's gotten on the board with a touchdown after Tampa Bay had a chance for an interception or a turnover. Kelvin Bryant, left side, touchdown Stars.
Forget that fumble. He's already in there.
Kelvin Bryant, 3rd touchdown of the day, 37-10, the Stars.
Usually they run this play off the right side. This time they're coming back to the left side, but it's just the power play with Kelvin Bryant following his lead block. Gets a shot in the end zone there and fumbles, but he's well into the end zone.
A late shot by Dwayne Anderson. I think it's frustration.
It is.
David Trout to attempt the extra point. Perfect. Well. 38-10, the Philadelphia Stars over Tampa Bay. Most excitement we've had in the second half was during that last timeout, that commercial break. Enterprising young man went down in front of the Veteran Stadium crowd, took the microphone away, and proposed to his girlfriend. Put a ring right on her finger. Standing ovation.
I like it. Propose on national television. Another look at Kelvin Bryant on the left side. Power play, leaps. He's well into the end zone. Now watch the late hit right here by number 26, Wayne Anderson. As Tim Brandt said, it's really the frustration of this Tampa Bay team, because they've lost 2 straight. Looks like they're going to lose a 3rd one. It was said earlier that this might be the most important game in the history of the young franchise, because it's a team that's struggling right now. They've got to make some decisions.
You look at the clock, they're 2:56 still remaining in the 3rd quarter. So there's still plenty of time, and Tampa Bay has the talent. We'll find out what they're made of here in the next couple of series. David Trout kicks this one right out of the end zone. Spencer Jackson lets it go. Coming up next week in the United States Football League, as ABC's coverage continues, Pittsburgh will play at New Orleans. Philadelphia will go against George Allen's Arizona Wranglers. Memphis against a red-hot New Jersey team, which quite frankly is in the middle of a battle right now in Los Angeles. And Oakland will go against these Tampa Bay Bandits.
That game has been moved to Saturday night, apparently. The Oakland-Tampa Bay game has been moved to Saturday night.
That's right. Now we just hear that it has been moved to Saturday to improve the crowd size there. That game in Tampa. So check your local listings for the game in your area by ABC. This is Gary Anderson with that run, and right now Tom Davis is down on the Philadelphia bench with Kelvin Bryant. Tommy?
Well, Tim, Kelvin Bryant has scored 3 touchdowns. It looked like the last one you just scored. You took a cheap shot after you scored it, right?
Yeah, I did, but I got it in the end zone. You know, I'm happy. We're winning, and as long as we winning, I'm happy.
How about going back to the one where you picked it up on the half-hop and describe what happened?
Well, you know, I saw the defensive back coming up, and I knew Willie was going to take a pretty good shot. And, you know, he fumbled it, and I just picked it up and ran with it.
It appears that the route is on here in Philadelphia. The Stars 38, Tampa 10, with 2:17 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Tim?
Incompleted pass, John Reaves, intended for Marvin Harvey. It looked like a mix-up by the receivers. They bumped into each other. And right now it's a study in ineptness.
Study in ineptness. That's not bandit ball. Bandit ball is kind of, well, it's synonymous with unpredictability, meaning they'll do anything at any time. They haven't had a chance to really develop their bandit ball today.
4 down linemen. Philadelphia brings its outside people. Reaves picks up Gary Anderson. Anderson out to the 27. A flag flies. It will be a penalty.
Number 43,
Sam Mills made the stop.
Sam Mills, number 54, makes the stop. Penalty marker on the play.
Sam Mills leads the team in tackles. The penalty is against the Bandits.
Sam Mills led the team in tackles last season. He is a guy who kind of, let's listen.
Holding. Offense, number 73. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Steve Spurrier calling the play to Jim Fitzpatrick, number 83, who now relay that message to John Reaves, the quarterback. John Reaves will take it in the huddle and call it.
So they're going for it on fourth down. As we were saying, Bandit ball means unpredictability. Of course, at this point, they don't have a whole lot to lose by gambling on fourth down.
Trailing 38-10, 2 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the third period from the 29. 4th and 1. Gary Anderson gets a good block, cuts back. Does he have the first? Yes. First down, Tampa Bay.
Gary Anderson, the ball carrier for the Bandits. Initial hit by number 95, William Fuller.
Gary Anderson, 6 foot, 188-pound flyer out of Arkansas.
Tampa Bay.
He was so talented at Arkansas that they couldn't decide whether to pay him at wide receiver or running back. So in the spring, on 2 occasions, they had him playing wide receiver, decided he would be more efficient as a running back, moved him back there. But as I said, he's equally efficient as a runner or receiver.
2 receivers at the top of your screen. Eric Trevelyan, the bottom of your screen. Reaves goes underneath. Under the linebackers to Gary Anderson. Another first down, Tampa. Sam Mills, Glenn Howard come up. They pull him down there. But Gary Anderson, another first down.
Gary Anderson.
To illustrate what we were just saying, he's equally dangerous as a receiver or a runner.
Number 51.
Sam Mills we were talking about a few moments ago. Quite a story, too. There, as we look at Gary Anderson, Mills led the team in tackles last year. Cut in the NFL, cut in Canada, but still had a lot of football left in him, so he came back here and was the leader of the doghouse defense.
He was teaching photography at East Orange High School when he got the call. Another completion, this time to Willie Gillespie in Tampa Bay now. Has a pretty good drive going. 45 seconds left in the third quarter.
Number 26, Jonathan Sutton on the...
Tampa Bay throwing the routes now that are most effective against Philadelphia's zone defense. Now, most of the time, and you mentioned this earlier, Philadelphia likes to sit in that zone coverage. They will bend, but they will not break. So the intermediate routes are usually there for you. Blitz.
Pass to Trevelyan should have been caught, incomplete. It would have been another first down. Reaves now 11 of 14 for 153 yards. Good pressure by George Cooper, the outside linebacker who came on the backside of Reaves and made him hurry. Wasn't a sack, but it was a hurry.
I like that, yeah. You know, a hurry is a new stat. It's not an official stat, but the teams keep that. And Jim Mora feels that a hurry is as significant as a sack because sometimes you make the quarterback throw an interception.
On 2nd and 10, Reaves. Complete to Marvin Harvey. Harvey takes it down inside the 35 to the 32-yard line. He also runs out of bounds and stops the clock with 11 seconds left in the third quarter.
John Reaves pass is complete to number 87, Marvin Harvey. Harvey forced out by number 27, Mike Lush.
You see, we talked about the zone coverage and how much of a cushion they will give here on the intermediate routes. Now look along the sidelines. As he puts the ball out to Marvin Harvey, the tight end. That's one of the areas that's there for you.
That's a good point. They're playing a prevent defense right now with a big 38-10 lead. They are playing soft on the corners. So what's Reaves doing? He's going and throwing under the coverage. Now he's going over top. Gillespie's open. Touchdown. Willie Gillespie. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Well, that's mixing it up, and that is Bandit ball. Go under the coverage, then go over top.
For the Tampa Bay Bandits.
Absolutely. They set it up perfectly with the short and intermediate patterns, and then Willie Gillespie, number 89, runs the deep route. Let's watch his route. Okay, it's like a hook and go. You see it? Mike Lush is beaten, it's Garcia Lane, number 47. Mike Lush coming over from the safety position. We said earlier, we thought they would go to work on Garcia Lane. They did it.
Then an end position in for the extra point. It is up and it is good. So Tampa Bay comes roaring back, and they do show some intestinal fortitude. 38-17, and we still have a quarter left to play. 5 seconds remain in this quarter, and that was a picture book drive.
Watch how Willie Gillespie, the fastest man on the team, number 89, puts a little move here on Garcia Lane. You can't see it. He ran a hook and go, got behind number 47, and before Mike Lush, the safety man, could get over there, he had caught the ball and was on into the end zone. Willie Gillespie is the reason that the Bandits were able to let Danny Bugs go to the San Antonio team.
He's got good speed, good hands. He caught an 85-yard pass against Denver, the longest in the USFL this year. Reaves now 13 of 16, 199 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I like to see those guys pumping that iron, babe.
Yeah, you look like you could use it.
It kicks sand on me.
He's in an end position. Low kick, short hop, taken by the up man. Across the 35 to the 40 goes Jeff Rodenberger out of the University of Maryland. And that'll be the last play of the quarter. So, United States Football League, Tampa Bay Bandits and the Philadelphia Stars will continue after this message and a word from our local stations. Here's your score. The Philadelphia Sun has dropped behind Veterans Stadium, but here inside, the Stars are still out and lead 38-17.
And so are the Co-Stars. That group of cheerleaders right there, aptly named. I like the name Co-Stars.
From the 41, 1st and 10, Jim Moore wants some offense. He thinks maybe his team went to bed too early. That could have been a lateral intended for Kelvin Bryant, and it was dropped. This is what happened in the 3rd quarter.
Incomplete.
At the end of 3 quarters, as we look at the statistics, Tim, it's easy to see why Philadelphia is leading in the football game. Look at the total domination here in time of possession. 32-25 to 12-35. Total yards 282 to 236. The turnovers may be the important thing, though. Tampa Bay has lost the ball 4 times. That's going to change the giveaway-takeaway ratio for Philadelphia. Remember, they were tops in the league last year, plus 35. Coming into today's game, they were minus 9.
Tampa Bay has to make things happen in a hurry. They need turnovers. There's a good play by Paul Porowski, the linebacker, who comes up and takes Kelvin Bryant down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 2.
Paul Porowski is a player, Tim. This guy out of Florida State, I covered him when he was in college. He was the leading tackler on the team last season. And, you know, he doesn't have the tremendous size or the tremendous speed, but he really has a nose for the football. You were that kind of linebacker, weren't you?
Yeah, I might have been slow, but I couldn't get around the football much either.
But you were chicken, right?
3rd and 13 from the 38. Long count. Fusina calls an audible.
A safety blitz.
Here comes the blitz by Tampa, and they've got him. A sack. Alonzo Johnson, number 58.
Number 14.
Got there quickly along with Keith Clark, 56. They take him down. Philadelphia will have to punt it away. Let's go downstairs now. Tom Davis.
Well, Tim, I'm with Willie Gillespie right now after he caught that touchdown pass. And Willie, it seems like Lee Grosskopf said you were running under the coverage. Is that true?
Yes, we got to kind of establish a sort of a short passing game right now to sort of get behind everybody. You know, they playing kind of deep now because they're laying back for the deep patterns because they feel we're trying to get back into the ball game. They feel we have to throw the ball deep to get back into the ball game.
All right, back to you, Tim.
Sean Landeta had punted it away. You saw the fumble. Gary Anderson let it go. The recovery by Philadelphia. The Stars get it back.
And that's going to be the 5th turnover of the day for Tampa Bay. And that, Tim, I think is going to be maybe the story of the football game. You know, the coach's cliche, mistakes will kill you. And now so many coaches feel that the giveaway-takeaway statistic is the most important stat that there is.
The ball was recovered by Ron Coder out of Penn State. He bounced around the National Football League for a while. Finally, he was a walk-on. Signed as a free agent here with this ball club. Kelvin Bryant, short gainer. Kelly Kirchenbaum stops him.
That fumble really hurts Tampa Bay because the last time they had the ball, they had the best drive of the day. They moved the ball effectively with the underneath patterns and then went to Willie Gillespie deep. And it was really the best drive that they put together. The longest drive, took up more time. They did the things that they do best.
That's a telling statistic. 79 second half points have Philadelphia. This year, this is Alan Harvey. Around the right side, big gainer. Dwayne Anderson makes the tackle.
Number 22, Alan
but
Harvey.
containment was broken by the outside linebacker on that side, who always has to keep his outside free, play everything inside out, force it back in, and hope for pursuit. And he didn't do it. And that right there is a look of frustration by the head coach, Steve Spurrier.
Normally kind of a loosey-goosey guy. You know, he runs a pretty loose practice. He thinks the football should be fun, and had a pretty relaxed training camp, a la Craig Morton. But he has a look of frustration today. The jaws are a little tighter than usual.
Herbert Harris to the bottom of the screen. Two tight ends, Allen Harvey. Straight ahead, first down, Philadelphia.
Number 22, Allen Harvey is the ball carrier for the Philadelphia Stars.
Alan Harvin in a backup role today. We talked about him at the top of the show and how he might see a lot of action. 61 yards in 8 carries. And he's also been effective at times as a blocker and as a receiver. So that tandem of runners is probably as efficient as any in the league when you think of Kelvin Bryant backed up by Alan Harvin.
Well, look where they marked the football. So now they say he comes up just that far shy of a first down. And on 4th and 1, obviously the crowd wants to go for it. With the 38-17 lead, I don't think it's that much of a gamble.
And with that kind of an offensive line and that kind of a dominating running game, they don't have much to lose.
They like to go to the right side behind Irv Eatman, Chuck Comiskey, and Bart Oates. This time they go right over the top. David Riley, number 35, out of West Virginia.
Stop by the center of the Tampa Bay Bandits.
First down, Philadelphia. Kelvin Bryant along with Jim Mora. And look at this one, 26-10, Generals.
They're in charge now, but Herschel Walker has left the game with a bad shoulder.
Steve Young, impressive, 17 of 25 in his debut as a pro quarterback. This is Allen Harvin. Wayne Anderson on a blitz, safety blitz. Tracks him down from behind, and it's a good thing because, once again, containment was broken on that side, and Harvin had the corner.
Allen Harvin, the ball carrier.
13 of 20 for 200 for plus 200 yards. Brian Sipe having a big day for the New Jersey Generals.
2-yard loss on the play, second down.
2 touchdowns.
2-yard loss. It'll be 2nd and 12. Jim Mora, well in control of this ball game, came in late as a coach here with the Stars last year. One of the last ones signed in the USFL.
2 weeks prior to training camp. What a job he did.
Allen Harvin, little delay. Inside the 30, 25 rather, to the 24-yard line. Mike Butler and Tim King for Tampa Bay make the tackle.
That's kind of one of the stories within stories that we have had around the United States Football League. George Perlis, of course, had the job here as the head coach. He had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to return to his alma mater at Michigan State. So the hunt was on for a head coach. Marv Levy, Jerry Glanville, and that man right there, Jim Mora, were the 3 finalists. They decided on Mora just 2 weeks prior to the start of training camp.
There's your time. Remaining in the ball game, Fusina throws complete to Steve Folsom, who runs out of bounds, stops the clock very efficiently. Steve Folsom's a pretty good story. He's out of Utah, your old alma mater. Played basketball for the Utes.
And is also a ski instructor during the offseason. A good, rangy, all-around athlete out of the University of Utah. Caught the very first pass of the day on this same route. He's covered there along the sidelines by number 56, Keith Clark.
He designed a conditioning program that helped train our women skiers for the Winter Games in Sarajevo. Steve Folsom. Good shot at Chuck Fusina and the numbers that he's had today. 1st and 10 from the 18. Harvin around the corner. Inside the 15 to the 11.
Number 22, Allen Harvin.
Look at the leg strength and upper body strength of Allen Harvin, number 22, a second-year pro out of the University of Cincinnati. We talked about the fact that he is the strongest man physically on the team, Tim, and the thought of a guy this size bench pressing over 500 pounds is absolutely amazing. But look at this. Look at the leg strength, upper body strength.
On the play.
It's hard to take this guy on in the open field. He now has 11 carries for 71 yards.
He has a low center of gravity, just keeps pumping. Received the game ball against Tampa Bay last year. also can pass. He was 2 for 2 in the playoffs, including a touchdown pass to Chuck Fusina. Here he goes again. Alan Harvin in trouble. Bruce Vaughn, number 30, came across cleanly.
Alan Harvin, the ball carrier for
Tim, you said it earlier, Tampa Bay was the only team to beat Philadelphia here at the Vet last season. They did it mostly by throwing the long ball. This year, they can't get the ball at all. It's just a case that time of possession is the most important statistic once again. You mentioned that last week Birmingham did the same thing. Birmingham dominated this Tampa Bay team, kept the ball for, what, over 33 minutes?
Had the ball actually more than 18 minutes longer than did Tampa Bay, and also ran 24 more plays than did the Bandits.
But Philadelphia has been even more dominating today.
Vociferous crowd obviously disagreeing with the call.
Illegal block from behind, above the waist. Offense number 80. The penalty is declined. 3rd down.
A lot of these fans here at the Vet will just cross the street, have a little dinner, maybe a hot dog or two, and go to the Spectrum to watch the Flyers and the Capitals battle it out in the last regular season game of the NHL tonight in a battle for 2nd place in the Patrick Division. This is 3rd and 12 from the 20. Little swing pass to Alan Harvin. And he's lassoed and thrown down viciously by Keith Clark. Keith Clark out of Memphis State. Started last year, missed 4 out of 5 games. 4 of the 5 games with assorted injuries. This year,
for the Bandits.
timeout Tampa Bay, their first time out of this half. Well, as you look at Chuck Fusina, he's been the engineer that has put the 38 points on the board. Philadelphia leads it 38-17 with 8:39 remaining. David Trout now for Philadelphia on to attempt the field goal. You see his numbers. He's been in a bit of a slump until today. Has missed 5 of 6 field goals from 40 yards. This one is from 42. It has the distance, but it's off to the left. No good. David Trout.
Attempt unsuccessful. Score remains Philadelphia Stars 38.
So now he's missed 6 of 7 from that distance.
Tampa Bay Bandits
40 or more.
All right, come on. We got to go get him stopped. We got to get him stopped. Let's go.
That's John Peace along the sidelines there. Another Utah man trying to fire his guys up.
United States Football League action continues next Sunday. Pittsburgh and New Orleans, Philadelphia, Arizona, Memphis, and New Jersey. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Greg Boone, complete. Pickup of 8. It'll be 2nd and 2. George Cooper makes the hit, along with Sam Mills, the linebacker.
Now you're going to see bandit ball. Look at this. No huddle.
They have to. No alternative. 8 minutes left in the ball game. They trail 38-17.
John Reaves hollering out the audibles. Here we go. Bandit ball all the way.
Gillespie, Trevelyan, your wideouts. 2-step drop, quick out. That's Gillespie across the 40 to the 42-yard line.
And Mike Lush comes over from his safety spot.
2nd and 10 from the 42. Reaves sacked. Big William Fuller came through cleanly. He's out of North Carolina, number 95. He gets credit for the sack.
And number 95, William.
Highly publicized rookie out of North Carolina, Tim. I saw him play this last season, and I thought he was one of the premier defensive linemen in the country. He was an Outland finalist. And coming into today's game, he had 11 tackles and 13 assists.
He's a hoss, 6'3", 250 pounds.
He's had some sacks and some hurries. Philadelphia, the doghouse defense, really the story of 1983, and they're playing their kind of football today. That name given to them by Jonathan Brooks last year during the preseason because the defense had been having a rough time in training camp. They were always in the doghouse.
Marvin Harvey flexes from his tight end position. Willie Gillespie, he goes wide to the top of the screen. Eric Trevelyan to the bottom. John Reaves is under pressure again. Steps up in the pocket, throws. This is Gillespie. Gillespie inside the 25.
John Reaves' pass is complete.
Outstanding catch and a fine route run by Willie Gillespie. There is a flag, and it could be a late hit.
John Reaves throwing some of the routes now that he throws best. This is the deep middle route or post pattern. Willie Gillespie, number 89, here he is, you see it. Now Bill Hardy, number 24, the nickelback, gets the hit right there. Let's hear what it is.
Well, it didn't look like a late hit.
It's not a late hit.
Not at all.
Well, tell us.
Well, it's going to be against Tampa Bay. That's Ted Humphrey, our referee. And here's his call.
Delay of game, offense, spiking the ball with the clock running. Number 80, first down and 15.
Don't think I've ever seen that call before.
And there's not a number 80 on Tampa Bay's lineup. It's first and 15. Reaves throws. Gillespie complete at the 6-yard line. Again, they pick on Garcia Lane, number 47. And that spike had to be Gillespie because there isn't an 80 on the lineup.
Bandit ball again, no huddle offense. Here's the audible by Reaves. They go to work.
Now the opponent is not so much Philadelphia as much as it is the clock. They've got to beat the clock. Here it is. Touchdown pass to Eric Trevelyan.
You kind of wonder now why they didn't go to work on Garcia Lane earlier.
And you saw Eric Trevelyan spike the ball and look at the official. This time it is legal because it's in the end zone and the clock's not running.
Look how Eric Trevelyan really works over Garcia Lane, the rookie. He makes a little move to the inside, fades it back to the outside. The ball is thrown with touch and timing by John Reaves. That's the consummate fade pattern there, Tim. It was perfect.
Eric Trevelyan is perfect for that fade pattern because he's 6'4", 205 pounds. He's a big man. And Resurgence's kick is good. And now the score has been closed to 38-24 with still 6:48 remaining in the fourth period. Kick by Tampa Bay. Philadelphia retains possession. Booker Russell, a fullback with good hands, made the catch. And he went down. But you know, it's a football game now, coupled with 6:44 remaining in the ball game. They trail by only 2 touchdowns.
The Stars, stopped by number 38.
This onside kick, however, hurts them because it gives Philadelphia the kind of field position they like. And Resurgence, number 9, comes up like he's going to kick it long. Then all of a sudden, he puts that little soccer move right there, kicks it. And Booker Russell, number 32, as Tim Brandt mentioned, is a fullback with good hands. So he wisely takes the ball and goes down with it.
So Philadelphia now has to think more offensively minded. Marvin Harvey, left side. Big gainer. First down and more to the 33-yard line before Dwayne Anderson can get a hold of him. Let's go to New York now. Jim Lampley with this United States Football League report.
What is happening to the Michigan Panthers without Anthony Carter, you wonder? Well, they've gotten a tough game before 43,000 in the Silverdome from luckless San Antonio. But now, Bobby Hebert, late in the fourth quarter, has hit virtually unknown Walter Broughton with this 7-yard touchdown pass. Since then, Boyovich has added another field goal, and Michigan's out of trouble, leading 26-10. Now back to Tim Brandt.
Well, we saw the highlights of the Michigan game, but we heard Keith Jackson out in Los Angeles. He's got a pretty good ball game out there, KJ does.
Got a real strong voice, too. Got to us all the way via New York.
Here at the Vet in Philadelphia, Tim Brandt, Lee Gross Cup. We've got 6 minutes, 12 seconds remaining in this ball game. First and 15, rather, from the 49 is Philadelphia. Alan Harvin tripped up at midfield. Quite a story. John Reaves has brought Tampa Bay back. He's having a fine afternoon. Tom Davis is with him now on the bench.
Well, Tim, John Reaves has completed 18 of 22 and a couple of touchdowns. What about the Bandit ball now? You're trying to get back into the season. You're going to continue playing that style now to the end?
Yeah, we'll go no huddle the rest of the way. Just praise the Lord for the performance so far. Still think we got time.
What about the fact that you didn't start this game? You think it could have been a different game?
Well, maybe so. I was awful sharp this week. So, I'm whatever Coach Spurrier wants to do, I'm behind 100%.
That's John Reaves as he gets ready to go back in on the next offensive series. Back to you, Tim.
You saw Fusina overthrow Scott Fitzke, which will bring up 3rd and long with 5:30 left, so it looks as if John Reaves will get the football back. He says he's been awfully sharp in practice this week. He was awfully sharp here this afternoon. 3 touchdowns, 271 yards. It has been turnovers, though, and mental errors which have hurt the Bandits. Third and 13. Long count. Fusina under pressure, and he goes down. Drops the football, and they whistle it dead. There is a flag. Wayne Anderson, number 26, played an outstanding ball game this afternoon.
Wayne Anderson.
Replaced Doug Bedoin early in the ball game, and he's been all over the field. Holding against Philadelphia, so instead of going toward their goal line, they have gone backwards, and you look at the clock, 5:26.
Offense, number 22. Penalty is declined.
We're going to see a lot of Bandit ball in the next 5 minutes and 26 seconds, Tim Brandt.
If Tampa could get one quick score, if Tampa could get a big play out of one of their big play men like Gary Anderson, who is deep, we would have a whale of a football game. Anderson turns the corner and runs out of bounds on the 33-yard line.
Penalty marker on the play.
And there's another flag. Roughing the kicker, and that is against Tampa Bay, and those are the mental errors we just talked about.
These are the things that drive coaches just, well, gives you ulcers, tension, headaches. There it is. There's the contact right there. Number 69 for Tampa Bay.
Personal foul, running into the kicker, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Number 68, Fred Nordgren, was guilty.
68, not 69. He out of Portland State, where he played some football for Mouse Davis. Mouse now the offensive coordinator for the Houston Gamblers. The architect of the run and shoot offense.
Fiction and fact from Cupper's Almanac. Lee Grosscup, the All-American from Utah, the quarterback with the New York Titans, spent some time with the Giants. This is Alan Harvin, cross midfield.
Number 22, Alan Harvin, is the ball carrier for the Philadelphia Stars.
Cupper, what was it like being in the new league back then with the Titans, now the New York Jets?
Well, it was a fascinating experience because the Titans, at that time, in 1962, when I played with them, were beset with financial problems. The late Harry Wismer was on the verge of bankruptcy, and our payroll checks were bouncing at one point during the league. That has not happened here in the United States Football League, and I don't think it will happen.
No, and that's one of the first signs of disaster. It happened in the World Football League before that league folded. Alan Harvin lassoed quickly again by
number 22,
Wayne Anderson, number 26.
Number 26,
Alan Harvin is hurt.
For the Bandits.
Tombstone for Tampa Bay.
Died of defeats.
Mess with the best, die like the rest. Oh, boy.
In the fourth period, New Jersey 26, Los Angeles.
That's Alan Harvin. The trainers are working on him, and while they work on him, and there's timeout on the field, we'll take timeout as well with the score 38-24 Philly. Here at the Vet in Philadelphia, we have 4 minutes, 28 seconds left. Tampa Bay tried to make a comeback. 38-24 is the score. But they need the ball back badly, quickly, score quickly. Alan Harvin left the field with an injury. They are working on his leg, but he looks like he will be okay. The numbers on Alan Harvin for the afternoon: 15 carries, 71 yards. Fusina, quick pop over the middle. It is complete. Big gainer. That is Ken Dunnick. And Ken Dunnick rambles down inside the 30 to the 26-yard line.
Number 20 and the number 70.
Good quick pop pass to the tight end. Dunnick right here by Chuck Fusina. Ken Dunnick, number 80, takes that quick look-in route. Warren Hanna, the cornerback, number 20, in on the tackle, along with number 79, Keith Clark. Dunnick, a tight end out of Memphis State, has good size, Tim, 6'6", 245 pounds. Caught that ball right in stride. Nobody's going to break his stride.
Fine afternoon for Chuck Fusina, faced with a 1st and 10. Quick opener, left side.
Carrier for the Philadelphia Stars.
26,000 out at the Los Angeles Coliseum today as the New Jersey Generals spoiled Steve Young's debut, 26-10. However, good stats for Steve Young. 19 of 29, 163 yards, 1 touchdown. That's Brian Sipes' numbers, rather. However, Steve Young also impressive in his debut today, despite the losing effort.
Chuck Fusina. Clens Donovan out to the wide right side. He's got 2 setbacks. He's got 2nd and 6. This is Kelvin Bryant coming around the right side down to the 20-yard line. Philadelphia now just trying to melt the clock.
For the Philadelphia Stars.
Chuck Fusina has been so effective today, Tim, with the ball control passing routes like we just saw, the quick pop pass to his tight end, all of the underneath patterns, and he's been good throwing to Scott Fitzke on the outside. 19 of 29 now in the passing department for 146 yards. And remember, he ran one in. The first touchdown of the day was by Chuck Fusina as he moved out to his right and scooted on into the end zone. We talked about him at the top of the show as possibly the most underrated quarterback in the United States Football League.
Well, that's the whistle for the 2-minute warning as Chuck Fusina goes over to talk to Jim Mora. And we'll be back with our score, 38-24 after this. Tim Brantley, Gross Cup for the final 2 minutes of this one at the Vet. It is 3rd and 2 from the 20-yard line for the Philadelphia Stars. Total domination by Philadelphia. You see it in the yards there. Chuck Fusina, big day for him. Jeff Rodenberger on the wing. The give is to Kelvin Bryant, who tries to bang his way into the 1st down area. I want to welcome those of you who have been watching the Los Angeles game with the Generals. If this game does not end by 6 o'clock Eastern time, many of you will have to rejoin your normal programming. But here in Philadelphia at the Vet, we have a 38-24 game. The Philadelphia Stars leading the Tampa Bay Bandits. That's Jim Mora, the head coach of the Stars. And Philadelphia has just that far for a 1st down. Kelvin Bryant has scored 3 touchdowns this afternoon. Chuck Fusina, 19 of 26 for 146 yards and 1 touchdown.
And for those people just joining us, I will tell you that Philadelphia has been in control of this football game throughout most of the afternoon. They marched to the 1-yard line the first time they had the ball and scored the next 3 times. At one point in the game, they led 21-zip. Tampa Bay has bounced back in the second half behind the passing of quarterback John Reaves, who has been red hot today. He did not start the game. Wayne Peace was the starter, but Reaves, the last time we looked, had completed 18 of 22 passes for 271 yards.
And 3 touchdowns. Tim Brandt, Lee Gross Cup along with you from the city of brotherly love. However, the Philadelphia Stars have shown no love toward the Tampa Bay Bandits here this afternoon. Fourth down and 1. Big play for Tampa Bay. If they have any hope of coming back in this one. 2 tight ends. Rodenberger on the wing. The give. Kelvin Bryant over the top. He's got the 1st down. At least from this angle, it looks like he had enough. Keith Clark, number 56, came up and made the tackle for Tampa Bay, and he says they didn't make it.
Notice how Kelvin extended the football there. He did not do that earlier in the game, and it cost him a touchdown.
I thought that was what got him the 1st down, but they will bring out the chains, I do believe. We'll see. One of the games that we will cover next week here on ABC, Tampa Bay has stopped them. Tampa Bay has stopped them and still has life with 1:46 remaining. I was about to say one of the games that we will see here on ABC next week are these Philadelphia Stars, who are about to run their record to 5-1 unless Tampa Bay can pull something out in a hurry. And Philadelphia plays Arizona. The other game will be selected early this week. So check your local listings and the time for the game in your area. Some tissue has come out of the stands. The referees blow the whistle and stop it. John Reaves is your quarterback. He has been extremely sharp. Eric Trevelyan and Willie Gillespie are your wideouts. Gary Anderson and Greg Boone are your setbacks. In the I formation, Reaves, four-step drop, swing pass to Anderson, across the 20, cuts back in, did not get out of bounds to stop the clock. Good defensive play over there by George Jamison.
Number 43, Gary Anderson. Number 58, George Jamison makes the...
More Bandit ball, no huddle offense. John Reaves hollering audibles right now.
The receivers and the setbacks, all the skill position have to be thinkers now. They have to know when to go for the first down, when to go for more, and when to stop the clock. That's Greg Boone across the middle.
Number 21,
close to a first down. That stops the clock at 1:13.
Tackled by Sam Mills, the leading tackler on the team this year and last year. Greg Boone out of Duke running an underneath cut right there. Back to work they go with more Bandit ball.
Reaves with time. Complete again, this time to Gary Anderson. Not enough for the first down, so that will not stop the clock. But Tampa Bay takes a timeout. So the Bandits, with their Bandit ball, do not give up the ship, and they continue to rally here late in the ball game.
Time of possession and turnovers have been the two key factors in the game today, as Philadelphia, as I said moments ago, has dominated the game throughout most of the afternoon.
We were concerned about Kelvin Bryant coming into the ball game. We didn't even know if he would play. He has a slight hamstring pull that he got last week. However, he's played quite well with 3 touchdown runs, and he's over 100 yards.
Tim Brandt, want to take a moment to congratulate you and your wife Janet on the birth of your 4th child.
Thank you, Coach.
Welcome a baby girl.
2 boys, 2 girls now, and there will not be a tiebreaker.
No tiebreaker? All right.
There's the time remaining in the ball game here in Philadelphia. Again, I tell you that Philadelphia and Arizona, that ball game next week, will be covered by ABC. The other game will be announced early in the week.
TBA.
So check your local listings for the game in your area. Boy, that should be a good one. George Allen's Arizona Wranglers against Jim Moore's Philadelphia Stars. John Reaves drops and throws incomplete. A misread on his part or Gillespie's part, one of the two. It was intended for 89, Willie Gillespie. And John had to unload the football before the cut was made.
John Reaves was throwing a sideline cut, and Willie Gillespie was on the fly pattern. Willie Gillespie, number 89, the wide receiver on the left, is running a fly pattern here, and you can see the ball clearly is thrown to the outside. Gillespie is still looking to his inside.
Only a miracle can save the Tampa Bay Bandits now from their 3rd straight loss, 3rd and 4. You look at the time. Everybody split wide. Philadelphia jumps too soon. Flags fly. Greg Boone, handoff to Anderson. Anderson to the 42-yard line, runs out of bounds.
There's some Bandit ball. Bandit ball, as we said earlier, is synonymous with unpredictability. And they have many, many gadget plays in their repertoire.
I'd like to see the old hook and lateral play.
You may. Here's a part of Bandit ball. Over the middle.
Defense.
With a handoff now to Gary Anderson. Boone handing off to Anderson after the hook pass in the middle. We saw a hook and handoff. They also have the hook and lateral.
Gary Anderson, the flyer out of Arkansas, signed late last year, once the season had begun. He can scoot. The fake to Anderson. Reaves drops, throws, complete, and then dropped. Ruled incomplete, intended for Marvin Harvey. Marvin Harvey out of Southern Mississippi.
John Reaves.
He was the main receiver for Reggie Collier there.
Marvin Harvey is in.
Tremendous hit by 56, George Cooper. And Marvin Harvey still down.
George Cooper really hit him a ton. 6'2", 220 pounds. Watch this. Marvin Harvey, the intended receiver. He's running a sideline cut. Now watch that. What is it? What is it you say? Tuck your tail, sky your eyes, drive right through it.
That is the key. Marvin Harvey, 7 catches last week. There's your score, 38-24. Marvin Harvey now up and gets off the field. He had 7 catches last week against Birmingham. Having another fine game here this afternoon.
Spotted on the 43-yard line, Bandits.
Caught a touchdown pass earlier, 55 yards in this ball game from Reaves. 44 seconds. Reaves rolls right, out of trouble, with time, throws, has a man, it's Eric Trevelyan, down inside the 35. Eric Trevelyan.
John Reaves' pass is complete to number 84, Eric Trevelyan.
Tim, I think John Reaves has thrown himself back into the starting quarterback position. Wayne Peace started the game today. He started last week. But John Reaves has been really hot here in the second half.
Eric Trevelyan, one of 4 players in this league to have caught a pass in every game. Reaves. Complete to Gary Anderson, who goes out of bounds and stops the clock at 26 seconds.
John Reaves' pass is complete.
John Reaves, of course, has a marvelous personal story. Hit bottom from booze and drugs, was kicked around the National Football League. He was backed up against his own goal line with about 4th and 44 in the game of life, that is. Had a spiritual transformation, turned his life around, and now is having a great day here in the United States Football League.
Tremendous story, an outstanding individual, John Reaves. And this club could have quit here this afternoon. But they didn't. They rallied, kept coming back, showed a lot of intestinal fortitude. 26 seconds left. They're still scrambling to get back on the scoreboard. Reaves goes deep, complete. Inside the 10, Willie Gillespie, number 89. He's out of UT Chattanooga.
Is complete to number 89, Willie
He's the reason they let go Danny Buggs. Danny Buggs went to the San Antonio Gunslingers, and Buggs was their leading receiver on the team last season. But it was the development of Willie Gillespie that caused Buggs to go.
Reaves, fade pattern, intended for Trevelyan. Should have been a flag. Now it's dropped. Garcia Lane interfered with Eric Trevelyan. Late flag. They finally called it. May have hurt us.
Eric Trevelyan, incomplete. Penalty marker on the play.
Eric Trevelyan, who has been effective working on Garcia Lane here in the second half, trying to run the fade route. And you see right there that there is contact by the cornerback, number 47, Garcia Lane, rookie out of Ohio State. And we said earlier, you kind of wonder why they didn't go to work on Garcia Lane earlier.
Pass interference. Defense number 47. Half the distance. First down.
First down.
9 seconds left. Trevelyan, 84 to the bottom of your screen. Gillespie to the top. Reaves. 3-step drop, throw, almost intercepted. Flag, roughing the passer.
John Reaves' pass intended for number 88.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be George Jamerson, George Cooper. Both of them came in, laid a pretty good lick on John Reaves. Don Fielder was there. William Fuller came in. Pretty good hit that time by Jamerson and Cooper.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. A blow to the head. Defense number 67. First down.
Yeah, that's Pete Kugler. Number 67, he's out of Penn State. Played 3 years with the 49ers. He should know better than that, especially when the game is history. With 6 seconds left. Doesn't make any difference. John Reaves is a competitor. is going to go for the touchdown. Quick drop, throw. Incomplete. Good defense that time. Intended for Eric Trevelyan, but 26, Jonathan Sutton was there.
John Reaves now 25 of 32 for 340 yards in the passing department. Steve Spurrier flashing plays in from the sidelines. That's the way the plays are called. One ex-Florida quarterback calling plays for another. 3 generations of Florida quarterbacks here today. Spurrier, Reaves, Wayne Peace.
This is it. The last shot for Tampa Bay to get on the board. Gillespie in motion. Reaves. Throw. Dropped. Gillespie was open. He dropped the football. The game belongs to the Stars. There's the final gun, and there's the frustration on the face of the head coach of Tampa Bay, Steve Spurrier. The winning coach, Jim Mora, and his club now 5-1. Well.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This play really typifies what has happened for Tampa Bay all afternoon. They have been this far from putting their game together as Reaves throws the ball to Willie Gillespie, number 89. If more passes like that had been caught and other balls intercepted, we could have had a barn burner.
There it is, the sign of sportsmanship. The two quarterbacks talking, and we'll be back.